Today we're diving into the latest technical overview of ERNA Ernexa Therapeutics Inc. The stock has caught traders' attention with a recent close at 1.89, showing a notable upward move. However, the technical landscape is far from straightforward. While some indicators point to bullish momentum, others reveal underlying weakness. This blend of signals makes ERNA a fascinating case for both short-term traders and long-term investors. Let's break down what's really happening beneath the surface and what it could mean for the next trading session. One of the most striking features in ERNA's current setup is the strong bullish momentum. The ERNA indicator is at a perfect 100, signaling a robust uptrend. The Commodity Channel Index (CCI) is soaring at 564.18, deep in overbought territory, which often accompanies powerful rallies. The plus DI at 67.03 is much higher than the minus DI at 8.59, further confirming the upward bias. These numbers suggest that, at least in the short term, buyers are firmly in control and pushing the price higher. Despite the bullish momentum, there are clear signs of weakness beneath the surface. The ADX, which measures trend strength, is only at 15.69, indicating that the current trend may not be as strong as it appears. Additionally, the negative linear regression slope of minus 0.0071 suggests that the longer-term trend is still downward. The stock is also trading at just 4.53% of its 52-week high, highlighting that this recent rally may be a short-term bounce rather than a true reversal. The ERNA's recent price action has been accompanied by an extraordinary surge in trading volume. The volume ratio stands at 19.89, and the relative volume is a staggering 48.61, nearly 49 times the average. Volume growth rate has exploded to 3,514.59. Such spikes often indicate significant institutional activity, but they can also signal unsustainable moves. The stock is trading well below its volume-weighted average price (VWAP) at 4.77, raising questions about the durability of this rally. While the price is rising, the accumulation distribution line is deep in negative territory and the ADOC is also negative. It suggests that, despite the price increase, there may be more selling than buying happening behind the scenes. The money flow index is at an extreme 99.94, indicating overbought conditions. These metrics hint that the recent rally could be driven by distribution rather than true accumulation, which is a red flag for sustainability. Looking at the moving averages, ERNA's current price of 1.89 is above most short and medium-term averages. The EMA 5 is at 1.44 and EMA 10 at 1.35, reflecting the recent price surge. Stock is also above the 50-day SMA at 1.29, which often signals short-term bullishness. These alignments suggest that the recent rally has been strong enough to lift the price above key short-term levels, attracting momentum traders. Despite the short-term strength, the longer-term moving averages tell a different story. The 200-day SMA is at 2.84 and the 200-day EMA at 4.58, both well above the current price. This alignment, with shorter-term averages below the longer-term ones, is a classic sign of a bearish overall trend. It suggests that, while the recent bounce is impressive, the stock remains in a longer-term downtrend and faces significant resistance ahead. Bollinger Bands show that ERNA's price is well above the upper band at 1.59, with a BB position of 149.86. This is a classic sign of overbought conditions, often preceding a pullback or consolidation. When prices move this far above the upper band, it typically signals that the rally may be overextended and due for a pause or reversal, especially if other indicators confirm the overbought status. MACD indicator is showing positive momentum, with the MACD line at 0.031, the signal line at minus 0.014, and the histogram at 0.045. These values suggest that the recent price action is supported by upward momentum. However, as with other indicators, it's important to consider this in the context of the broader technical picture, which remains mixed. Both the RSI and stock RSI are flashing overbought signals. The RSI 14 is at 74.38, well above the typical overbought threshold of 70. The stock RSI K is maxed out at 100. These readings suggest that the stock is in an overbought state, increasing the risk of a near-term pullback as traders may look to lock in profits. Stochastic indicators present a mixed picture. For longer periods, values are in the 36.41 range, which is neutral to slightly bearish. For shorter periods, values rise to 65.71, indicating some underlying strength. This divergence suggests that while short-term momentum is strong, the longer-term outlook remains uncertain, and traders should be cautious about overcommitting in either direction. Momentum indicators like ROC 14 at 41.04 and price acceleration at 0.625 confirm the recent upward surge. Volatility is moderate to high, with ATR 14 at 0.196 and true volatility at 10.36. These values suggest that the stock is experiencing significant price swings, which can create both opportunities and risks for active traders. Linear regression analysis adds another layer to the story. The slope is negative at minus 0.0071, reinforcing the idea that the longer-term trend is still downward. The R-squared value is moderate at 0.469, meaning about 47% of price variation is explained by the model. The current price is significantly above the predicted value, suggesting the recent rally is an outlier rather than a new trend. Looking ahead to the next trading session, technical indicators suggest an opening in the 1.85 to 1.9 range. The pivot point at 2.16 is a key level to watch, as the stock closed well below it. Overbought conditions and the recent volume spike could lead to profit-taking and a lower open, but strong short-term momentum might provide some support. Expect volatility and the potential for a gap in either direction. Current price of 1.89 sits 0.27 below the pivot point at 2.16, 0.44 above the first support at 1.45, and 0.7 below the first resistance at 2.59. These levels will be crucial in the next session. If the stock breaks above the pivot point, it could target the resistance at 2.59. On the downside, failure to hold current levels could see a move toward the support at 1.45. Given the recent volume spike in volatility, intraday movement is likely to be sharp and unpredictable. Traders will be watching the pivot point and resistance levels closely. The stock may also encounter resistance around the 100-day SMA at 1.62. Expect quick swings as market participants react to these technical levels and position themselves for the next move. Using the ATR 14 value of 0.196, we can estimate a potential trading range for the next session. The high could reach around 2.09 while the low might dip to 1.69. This range reflects about 10.4% of the current price, indicating moderate to high volatility. However, given the extraordinary volume and mixed signals, the actual range could be even wider. In a bullish scenario, if ERNA breaks above the pivot point at 2.16, it could continue its upward trend toward the resistance at 2.59. The combination of strong short-term momentum and extraordinary volume could signal continued institutional accumulation, pushing the price higher in the short term. On the bearish side, the overbought conditions and negative accumulation distribution values could trigger a pullback. If ERNA fails to break above the pivot point, the stock may retreat toward the support at 1.45. A sharper decline could even test the 52-week low at 1.09, especially if selling pressure intensifies. A neutral scenario would see ERNA consolidating around current levels. The market may need time to digest the recent sharp move, potentially forming a base before deciding on the next direction. This could result in sideways trading as traders wait for clearer signals. It's important to note that ERNA is currently trading at just 4.53% of its 52-week high of 18.75. This context highlights how far the stock has fallen over the longer term and why the current rally, while impressive, may not signal a true reversal. Long-term investors should keep this perspective in mind when evaluating the stock's prospects. The extraordinary volume spike suggests significant institutional activity. Such moves can drive sharp price changes, but they also raise questions about sustainability. If institutions are selling into strength, the rally may not last. If they're accumulating, the move could have more legs. Watching volume patterns in coming sessions will be key. Technical picture for ERNA is a classic case of short-term strength clashing with long-term weakness. While momentum traders may find opportunities in the current rally, long-term investors should remain cautious. The stock's position below key long-term moving averages and the negative regression slope are reminders that the broader trend remains bearish. Pivot point at 2.16 is a crucial technical level for ERNA. It serves as a reference for both support and resistance. A break above this level could trigger further buying, while failure to surpass it might lead to renewed selling. Traders will be watching this level closely in the next session. Support at 1.45 and resistance at 2.59 define the near-term trading range for ERNA. These zones will likely see increased trading activity as the price approaches them. Breakouts or breakdowns from these levels could set the tone for the next move, making them essential for active traders to monitor. The ATR value of 0.196, representing about 10.4% of the current price, signals that traders should expect moderate to high volatility. This level of price movement can create both opportunities and risks, especially for those using tight stop losses or looking for quick trades. With overbought conditions and a sharp price rise, profit-taking is a real risk. Traders who entered early may look to lock in gains, leading to increased selling pressure. This could result in a quick pullback, especially if the stock fails to break above key resistance levels. Given the current volatility, traders should consider adjusting their strategies. Wider stop losses and careful position sizing can help manage risk. The potential for sharp swings means that both opportunities and dangers are heightened in the current environment. Recap: the key levels to watch for ERNA are the pivot point at 2.16, resistance at 2.59, and support at 1.45. The ATR-based range for the next session is 1.69 to 2.09. These levels will likely define the action in the coming days, so keeping them in focus is essential for effective trading. In conclusion, ERNA Ernexa Therapeutics Inc. is experiencing a significant short-term rally, but the technical indicators present a mixed and cautionary picture. While short-term momentum is strong, the longer-term trend remains bearish. Extraordinary volume and price movement make this a stock to watch, but traders should be prepared for volatility and potential reversals. As always, staying disciplined and focusing on key technical levels will be crucial in navigating the next trading sessions.